Hello and thank you for coming to my channel. This is Rick's Garage and today we're going to continue on with the iXO collections of the Willys Jeep. Pack 21, stages 101 to 105. Now this entire build consists of the Jeep, the trailer, and the anti-tank gun. So in the last 4 or 5 stages of this build, we're going to be working on the anti-tank gun, which will then complete this entire build. Now I put a link in the descriptions and a QR code on screen that will take you right over to iXO collections if you'd like to get this for yourself. So without any further ado, let's get started. Okay, in stage 100, we're just going to start to work on the components of the gun. We got the apron, what they call the apron, the handles, and the support pintle, P-I-N-T-L-E. So let's get these parts out and see what we got. Okay, now as you probably heard when the parts were coming out of the bag, these are metal. In fact, all these parts that you see here are metal. And the first thing we want is this part right here, and they call this the apron. This is called the apron, and you want it in this position here where these recesses facing you. On the other side, they don't have those recesses. On this side they do, and this is the side that you want. Then you want to take these pieces here, and these are called handles. You put one there. We're going to put one right there. Then we're going to turn this over and we're going to secure those in with 2 ACM screws. Now the ACM screws are right here in this bag. They are flange screws, but they are very, very tiny. So I'm going to get these out. Now these handles are a little directional. I noticed that when I was putting this handle in here. So if you put your handle in and you notice that there is a little bit of a gap there on the side, like that, then you want to turn your handle around until it fits nice and flush and even in that recess, just like that. Okay, so I'm going to pick this up, hold that around, get our screw in, and secure that in with an ACM screw. That's how it should look when they're installed. Okay, now next what we want to do is we want to take our hinges, and again these are metal, looking like this, and we want to follow the recess that you see here. So this is going to go here like that, and this is going to go over here just like this, and we're going to secure those in with an ABM screw. Okay, now these screws are very tiny, as you can see that right there, and I'm using my PH00 screwdriver for this. So I'm going to dip that into some oil and get this fixed in. Okay, it took a lot of studying on the instructions to get these hinges in correctly. I initially thought that this raised area here, the hinge area, needed to be on this side. But looking at the instructions further on down the line, I figured out that this is the correct orientation that those hinges should be in, just like that. So then when we take this part here, what we're going to do is we're going to marry those part up like so. This is going to be around this way around, like this, and this hinge is going to go in these 2 holes. This hole here, this hole over here, that's where the hinges are going to go into. We turn it around and we secure those in with 2 SM screws. Okay, this was a very difficult assembly to do. This took me quite a long time to do. It was also difficult for me to figure out exactly how this was supposed to go on. The instructions are not very clear at all. But my first problem was trying to get these hinges installed onto this plate using these ABM screws, as you can see right here. Now these ABM screws for me are not long enough. They're too short to secure the hinges onto this plate. I had to use 2 different screws. Over here, the only screws I had available for me was UM screws, and those are a flathead screw. And then I ended up having to use an AM screws over here to secure that in. And you'll notice that the screws do protrude through. I'll probably end up cutting these off later on, depending upon how this assembly goes. If this is all going to be hidden after it's all put together, then I don't have to worry about those screws. A builder's tip, though, is don't put these hinges onto the plate first. Put the hinges onto the bar, like you see right here, first. Because if you don't do that, it's going to be very difficult to put those hinges into the bar while they're connected to the plate. It's a very flimsy assembly. So I found it very easy for me to first put the hinges onto the bar first, and then secure the hinges onto the plate afterward. But once it's all installed, that's exactly how that should look. And here on the other side. And it does move quite freely. And that's all there is to do in that stage. Okay, in stage 102, again, all these parts are metal. And we want to take this piece here. They're calling this the apron, or they're calling this the main axle. That's what they're calling this. And then these two pieces right here, they're calling these the locking hooks. So what you want to do is you want to take this piece here with it in this orientation. You want to put it in just like that, right through that hole here at the bottom. Just like that. And then we're going to place it onto this part here, where these hooks are going to go between these two slots on both sides. It's a little fiddly to do. That's going to go on just like that, like so. There we go. So that's how that should look. Okay, again, the instructions are not 100% clear, but you want to place your hooks on your bar so that the hook goes through this little U-shape piece right here. And this lug is going to come down this way. So that's how those should look once they're installed. Okay, now we're going to take this piece here, it's the other part of the axle, I'm assuming, and they're calling this the locking mechanism shaft, and we're going to place it on in this way around, just like that, and well, you hear it snap into place. There. And that's how that should look once it's snapped in. So then when this is all secured now, this will then move back and forth, just like that. Then we want to turn this over, and we'll secure it in with 3 FM screws. Here, here, or actually 4 FM screws. Here and here, here and here. Okay, and that's how that should look once that's installed. Okay, now next we want to take this piece here, and it is marked L for the left side, and they're calling this piece the left guard. And you want to take these two pieces here, and you'll notice that they do have a slant to them. And you want the pointed edge, the pointed part, facing in this direction. So you want this to go on just like that. So that edge is pointing in this direction. And you want to take this piece, basically do the same thing. Put it in that orientation. And we're going to secure those in with EM screws. And that's how that should look once those are installed. Okay, now next what you want to do, you want to take this piece here, and we're going to, this has got a locating lug, so this is probably the only part of this stage where the instructions are really clear. They make it easy for you. This lug, locating lug, is going to locate into this hole right here. So what you want to do is you want to put it in just like this, and then on the back side here we're going to secure that in with an FM screw. And that's how that should look once that's installed. Okay, now we're going to bring this piece back over in this orientation. Then we're going to take the piece that we've been working on. We're going to then take this screw hole lug and match it up to this lug right there, or that screw hole, just like that. And then on the other side, we're going to secure that in with a CM screw. And that's how that should look once that's installed. Okay, next we want to take this piece here, and they call this the wheel locking lever, I think. And it is made out of plastic. And these two lugs right here are going to fit in those two holes right there. So this is just a push to fit. Goes on just like that. And then we repeat that on the other side over here. Okay, now once you have this piece in, this is how it should be looking right now. On that side there, turn it around, and that's how it should be looking, just like that. And that's all there is to do in that stage. Okay, in 103 we're still working on this assembly here. Okay, the first thing we want is this piece here, and you want it with the R facing up. So it's going to be in this position like that. Then we're going to take this piece here, these two pieces, and we're going to place one here and one over here. Again, making sure that the piece is in this configuration where the incline is facing this direction here. So I'm going to put that right there, and we're going to secure those in with 4 EM screws. And that's how that should look once those are in. And next we're going to take this piece here, and there is a locating lug here, and there's a locating hole right here. So there's two holes. There's a locating hole and a screw hole. It's going to help you put this in correctly. So we're going to align that lug up to that hole, and that's going to go in just like that. And we're going to secure that in with an SM screw. And that's how that looks once that's installed. Okay, next we want to take our piece that we've been working on in previous stages, and we want to take this piece that we just now finished. We want to then apply it over here in this configuration, just like this, and we're going to secure that in on the other side with a CM screw. And that's how that looks when that's installed. And they're in, both of these are actually in very firm. Okay, next we want to take this piece here, looking like this. We can put it this way around. Then we're going to take this piece, and we're going to put it in just like that on that side, and this piece this way around on that side, and we're going to secure those in with a YM screw. Okay, when those are in, they should look just like that. Making sure that the dip here is facing down, and that you put your screws on the outside of the assembly, like that. Okay, now next we want to take this piece here, and the instructions are not very clear, but after looking at them, you want to take this piece here looking like this, and this is going to be a push to fit. This is going to go in just like this. We're going to push that in all the way through that hole, right like that. And this is a very tight fit. So let me get this in. I'll come back and show you what that looks like. Okay, that is a very tight fit, but that's how that should look once that's installed. Okay, next we're going to bring our assembly over that we've been working on, and we're going to take this piece right here, and with this in this configuration, these two lug holes, or these two screw holes here and here, we're going to match up to these screw holes there and fix it in right there with 2 CM screws. And that's how that looks once that's installed. And on the other side. And this is how this is all looking at right now. But that's all there is to do in that stage. in stage 104, we work on the first tire of our anti-tank gun. Okay, we're going to be assembling the wheel just exactly as we did on the trailer and on the Jeep. So that means I'm going to boil this in hot water so that we can get our rims in. Now everything you see here is metal except for these two pieces up here. Those are in plastic. And of course we also have a washer. So I'm going to go ahead and boil this in hot water and get these two pieces on our tire. Okay, that's our wheel installed, or our rims in our wheel, looking like that. Okay, next we want to take our wheel disc or brake disc looking like this, and just like before, we're going to put it down onto these two lug holes right here, or screw holes, just like that, and we're going to secure that in with two CM screws. Okay, here's our first screw going in. We'll get our second one in. And again, I am putting these screws into oil. Get that nice and tight. The other one in there too. And there's that installed. Okay, next what we want to do is we want to take this piece here. Again, this is metal. And we're going to take our assembly that we've been working on and work on the left-hand side, which is this side here. You'll notice that this piece has a long end and a short end. It's the short end that you want to go through here. And then there's a hole here that's going to go onto that lug right there. It's going to kind of lock that in. Okay, then we're going to take our wheel, looking like that, put our wheel on just like so. Make sure that's all locked into place. This is going to be a little fiddly. Okay, so I have my wheel on like that. Then I'm going to take a washer, like that. Make sure that's in there nice and flush. And then I'm going to secure that in with an OM screw. Okay, this is a little flimsy as you can see, but that's our wheel on now. The wheel does have a little bit of a wobble to it, so I think once I get the other wheel onto this side over here, I'll be able to tighten this up a little bit and make it a little bit more firm. But this is a flimsy piece to put in, but that's what it looks like once it's installed. And this does kind of flop around. Okay, we end it with putting on a wheel hub, which is just a push to fit. That goes on just like that. I'm not going to put that on right now because I may want to tighten up that wheel after I get the second one on. But that's all there is to do in that stage. Okay, in stage 105 we do exactly what we did in stage 104. So let me get all this assembled. I'll come back and show you what this all looks like. Okay, there are both our wheels on without any issues, other than the fact I could not get rid of the wheel wobble. I think that two washers on each side is really what's needed. So I went down to the hardware store and I got a bag of washers. These are size M3. That's the only size that they have on this bag. They don't really tell you what the actual size is, other than M3. And those washers were just the right size to go down into the hole where it needs to go. So with about the same diameter as the flange screw. I don't even know if you can actually see it or not. And then I also used the same washer that came with the kit. So there's two washers on each side. One that comes with the build, and then these washers right here. And that got rid of the wheel wobble. So if you're having problems with yours and you can't get rid of your wobbling of your wheels, go down to your hardware store if you don't have any washers in your arsenal, and get some washers that will work for you. Now these are lock washers. I don't think that really matters whether a lock washer or not. You just need two washers on each side to solve that wheel wobble. But it worked out really great, as you can see. Now I put a link in the descriptions and a QR code on screen that will take you right on over to iXO Collections if you'd like to get this for yourself. I really hope you liked this video, and if you did, please give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't already subscribed, please remember to hit that subscribe button and that bell icon. Other than that, always have fun in your garage, your workshop, or wherever it is you build your models. And until next time, thanks for watching.